everyone. This is Julia at the Macedon Public Library, and today I have a really simple recipe to share with you. I have done it in advance. I did it and recorded it at home, and so I'm going to be sharing the video with you. It's pretty short, and it's making a crustless brown sugar pumpkin pie in a crock pot. So you don't have to have, I'm not really good at making crusts. I end up generally just buying the frozen kind. But even if you are good at making crusts, the nice thing about this is that it can be done in your crock pot while your oven is being used for other bigger things. And it still tastes like pumpkin pie. It still tasted really, really good. So that was the idea that I wanted to do for this. So let me go ahead and share my screen and I'll show the video and I'll talk over what's happening in the video. And then at the end, I will give you the recipe. I'll show a full screen of the recipe and walk you through that as well. Okay, so let's see. Share screen with the movie. And I hope you can see this. It's supposed to be loaded in green. So, and I hope it says pumpkin pie. And on the right side, I have the words of what's going to be in the picture. So here we go. So this is my kitchen in my crock pot. It's like a standard size. It's a round, not an oval. So I already have mixed the pumpkin puree and 2 eggs. And then I pour into that I believe it's a 15 ounce, whatever the standard can of evaporated milk. I forgot to shake it first, I should tell you that. So shake your can first before you open it. And then this is the brown sugar, 3/4 of a cup. And then this is all of the spices in this all together. It's a tablespoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cardamom, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And you just whisk it all together. Break up the brown sugar a little bit. I sped it up. So as I said, I recorded this earlier so you can see my arm is still in a sling. So I was a little compromised after my broken arm, but I'm not in a sling anymore. So yay. So you just mix it up. This is, you know, how if you have a favorite mix of how you make your pumpkin pie, you could probably also just use the same recipe for that, except you're putting it in a crock pot. So one way you can do it is to use a piece of foil, and I just kind of made a bit of a bowl in there to fit the insides, and then spray that with some oil. I didn't show that part, and just pour it in. You don't have to use the foil. You can also just pour it in there directly, but spray the crock. But with the foil, then you can remove it if you actually wanted to chill it in the refrigerator and serve it like a pie. The foil is a good idea for that. And then you just set the crock pot on high. Get the lid on there. And the recipe that I followed said to go for 2 hours. I went for closer to 3. My crock pot is an older one. I probably could have gone a little longer besides 3 because you can see it's a little jiggly right there. So after that, I'm going to pause it. Whoop. So after you think it's done, you kind of shake it and you notice, because there should be a little bit of jiggle, it's still going to continue to cook a little bit. But when it's done, you're ready to take it out. Then you lift the crock out of the liner for your crock pot and then set that on a cooling rack for 30 minutes. That was not my arms because, again, I had a sling on. So that was someone else's arms in my home. But yeah, you just let it cool in the crock for 30 minutes just to help it separate and cool down a bit. So it stops the active cooking. All right, so then after it sat for 30 minutes, then I took it out of the crock. I just lifted up the foil and then I put that in the refrigerator. I don't remember how long I put it in the refrigerator. Maybe an hour or 2. I don't know, I didn't write that part down. And then cut it. I cut it first. You can see there's still lines. I couldn't find my pie slicer. So I started all over again after I dug out my pie slicer. So yeah, again, this is after having been in the refrigerator for a while. And you're able to slice it. And then I think I show what it looks like. Looks like a slice of pie without a crust. But it held together really well, and the more you cool it in the refrigerator, the firmer it will get. All right, and that is that. So let me stop that screen and come back here. So then I'll move to the recipe. I have to share that one too. I think it's this one. Yes, here we go. So this is the crustless brown sugar pumpkin pie in a crock pot. So you use 1 can of pumpkin puree, not the pumpkin pie mix, but the pumpkin puree, and a 12-ounce can, there we go, 12-ounce can of evaporated milk. Make sure you shake the can of evaporated milk. Then you've got the 2 eggs, 2 whole eggs, 3/4 of a cup of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/8 of a teaspoon of cloves, a tiny amount, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cardamom, 1/2 a teaspoon of salt. I whisk that up, stir it together however you want. You could use a mixer, I guess, if you wanted. And then if you want, you can line the crock pot with foil. If you don't want to line it, then you just make sure you spray the pot with a spray cooking oil. Or if you use the foil, still spray it on the foil, because it's just going to help it release better. So put the foil in, put all the mix in there, cook it on high for 2.5 to 3 hours. I would check it at 2.5 hours if you have a newer crock pot than mine, maybe a little higher power. 2.5 hours might be enough. Like I said, I think when I do this again, I'll keep going past the 3 hours. I would have liked it a little bit more firm. Then you pull out the crock at that point from the liner and you cool it, for the outside. You cool that for 30 minutes. Then at that point, one of the things, the recipe that I got this from, said that you can scoop it at that point while it's still warm and serve it with ice cream, with the vanilla ice cream, which I thought sounded wonderful, but it's not really pie. So it would be like a pumpkin pudding, but that sounds good too. If you're using the foil, then you can take the foil out of the crock and chill that in the refrigerator for as long as you would like it to be. And then it's going to be firm enough to cut it in slices like you would do a pie. And you could still serve it with vanilla ice cream if you wanted. So that is my experience. It was really easy. And once you put it in there, you walk away, you can do whatever else. I will definitely do this again. And I'm wondering, there's got to be other kinds of things where you can use this. But I don't know, texture-wise. Anyway, I thought it was great. I never thought about this before, but I will definitely do this again. And I hope that you can give it a try. And stop sharing. Maybe I'll keep talking. So if you are writing this down, you can also email us or call us at the library. And if you would like a hard copy of this, we can print it for you and put it in as if you were reserving books, like Books on Hold. You can pick up the recipe as well if you don't want to take the time to do this, to write it down now. But I hope you try it. I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any special different spices that you like in your pumpkin pie, feel free to let us know. If you try it with other things to see how it works as a different kind of crustless pie, please let me know, because I want some ideas. And I think we're going to end it there. I hope you have a good Thanksgiving coming up, and we'll see you at the library. Bye. I have to stop the screen. There we go. Stop recording.